She is out. Thumbs up and a huge smile.
People's Women Changing the World is our way of recognizing and celebrating the women who are making big and small changes in their communities, in the country, and the world.
Women Changing the World is not a countdown. We don't rank the women. For us, all 10 are remarkable, and so everyone is equal on this platform. They all deserve praise.
This year's list, it brings me to tears. These are women who are helping their neighbors. They are up in outer space. There really is no limit to what they are dreaming and achieving.
Mariska Hargitay is someone whose job actually changed and influenced who she became. She, of course, has played the role of Olivia Benson on Law & Order SVU for over 20 years.
It was actually that role that made her realize and understand the trauma that sexual assault and rape victims go through.
As I began shooting the show and interacting with fans and started getting a different kind of fan letter, which was women and men disclosing their stories of abuse, it just felt like everything was lining up.
So in 2004, she started an organization called Joyful Heart, and her foundation really set out to change how these women get justice and how they find healing.
At Joyful Heart, we're trying to eradicate the rape kit backlog. We're trying to transform the way society responds to these issues. We're having these conversations about consent and having other conversations and really digging into victim blaming. And it has just been a blessing every day when people say to me, thank you for listening, thank you for believing, believing survivors is, again, can change the trajectory of a person's life.
Christina Koch now holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman.
Christina is out of this world, literally. She set a new record for the most days in space by a woman ever, 328 days when she finally came back to Earth in February.
Thinking back to a year that goes by in your life and to be able to contribute as much as I've had the opportunity to has just been awesome.
Christina Koch's spacewalk was seen by not just people in the United States, it was seen by people everywhere, in particular little girls who are now dreaming as big as the universe.
I love the science that's going on board the International Space Station, so to participate in that and work with the teams that are part of that is just such a great honor.
Christina Koch, your record holder. She is out. Thumbs up and a huge smile.
I'm overwhelmed with joy to be home and to be experiencing the sights, the smells, the feeling of wind, the feeling of weather. So, there are things that I'll miss. There are things that I may never see again, but to be back at home and in the environment that I grew up in is really amazing. My number one hope for this milestone is that the record is exceeded again as soon as possible, because that means that we're continuing to push the boundaries.
I remember when Desperate Housewives exploded globally, I thought, oh my gosh, here's such an opportunity to say something. And so what are you going to say? At the Eva Longoria Foundation, our mission is to help Latinas build better lives for themselves and their families through educational programs and entrepreneurial programs. And I started really narrowing down what community I wanted to help the most, who I wanted to help the most, and how I wanted to help them. And that was the Latino community. And then I knew it was going to be women, because I think when you invest in women, you invest in the futures of nations. Eva Longoria Foundation has distributed more than $1.8 million in microloans to more than 200 Latina businesswomen.
She's on the list because of her incredible advocacy for Latina women. And she's an outspoken member of the board of Time's Up, and so she is making sure that everything she does makes women feel more included.
One of the greatest things that has come out of the Time's Up movement is creating this global conversation around safety in the workplace across all industries, and really bringing to light what so many women felt like they were going through alone. And that's really one of the greatest accomplishments.
Awkwafina is an incredible comedian. Everyone remembers her in some of these top films. She had an incredible turn in The Farewell.
When people first saw it, they were amazed at this woman who was previously known essentially as a comedian, delivered such a powerful performance. As a result, she made history. She was the first Asian American woman to win Golden Globe for lead performance in a comedy.
I've never been to the Golden Globes, so I'm here now, and it's this, and it's great.
Awkwafina is really a positive influence in the Asian American community. She doesn't shy away from being a role model because she's also she brings such positive, brilliant energy with her. She is someone everyone wants to follow.
Emily Blunt, we all know her from movies like Mary Poppins. We're very excited about Jungle Cruise coming out. But what some people don't know is she's actually been a really big advocate for girls' education.
There are over 130 million girls missing out on an education because they have to work, or they are married by the age of 12, or they lack access to school facilities, or have to care for younger siblings.
Of course, she's the mother of 2 girls, so she sees the impact of it. But she recognizes that if you give one girl a voice, a girl like Malala, and she can have such an impact, imagine if you could do that for 100 million girls in the world.
The Malala Fund is working tirelessly to ensure 12 years of school until they are 18 for every girl worldwide.
By putting her name out there, she's helped raise money for the Malala Fund, ensuring that more and more schools are built worldwide.
Simone Biles is quite possibly the greatest of all time when it comes to women's gymnastics and gymnastics overall.
She also spoke out and supported her fellow gymnasts during the Larry Nassar case. And so she's really put her name on the line.
She stood up when all of the survivors were speaking out about Larry Nassar. She was key to that movement.
So to speak out the way she did says a lot about how much she cares about her fellow athletes and making sure that gymnasts are protected.
Jennifer Hyman, you may not know her name, but you've probably worn her clothes. She's the founder of Rent the Runway, which is basically a virtual closet where you can rent any number of pieces per month and always have something new to wear. She's the leader of one of the very few companies led by women to reach unicorn status of $1 billion valuation. Nadia started her work when she was just 16. She had been commuting to school a very long way, and along her route saw some women who were homeless. And she couldn't get them out of her mind, and she wanted to know how to help them. And when she asked, she was surprised to see that what they needed was period supplies.
So she launched a foundation that she called Period. They help provide feminine hygiene products to not just homeless women, but low-income women.
So Nadia, she's now a junior at Harvard and just turned 22. She now has chapters in 50 states across the country who are helping women and also fighting any stigma about periods. She wants to end that shame and make sure women have what they need.
Najah Zi, who is the founder of Zaman International, she's made it her mission to help the most vulnerable people in Michigan get back on their feet and create better lives.
Najah has built up her organization over the last several years into a one-stop shopping kind of place for women in need. This is where women can get clothes that they need for their family, food, but they also get vocational training, internship placement. This is a way to help women get off their feet.
And in doing so, she has actually helped over 250,000 people in southeastern Michigan. The filmmakers, Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy and Trish Dalton, created, directed, produced this award-winning documentary called Student Athlete.
College athletics is a huge business in this country, raking in more money than the NFL. And yet, college athletes can't make any money from their own signature, their own likeness. They want to help change that.
Because of their film, the California legislature was the very first last year to pass a law forcing colleges to allow athletes, student athletes, to get paid, but from potential sponsors who are selling their image. And so through this one film, this is actually going to change college athletics for generations to come.